Because these are difficult times, it's imperative we send our most effective and experienced leaders to Harrisburg.
Jake is a strong advocate and supporter of women and minority-owned business. He cares about every individual, and it isn't just his voting status that he cares about. He is trying to accomplish what other individuals do not seem to take the care and emotion that he does. And I believe that if you don't vote for him, you're going to get stuck with a lot of individuals you won't be very happy with.
I come from a family where hard work was instilled in me early on. My mom and dad, they came from a small town in Mississippi where they learned to value hard work, long hours, and they made sure that all of their children appreciated what it meant to work through adversity, never giving up. My mom retired 38 years as a United Auto worker. My father was a successful entrepreneur who went to work every day telling us that nothing is given, everything is earned. I just decided right there I was going to be a Marine. And I went down that same day to the recruiting office, signed up, basically took the AFVAB test, signed up. He told me I could be anything I wanted to be in the Marines. I chose the communication fields thinking I was going to be at someone's desk answering phones, and ended up going to the Marines 2 weeks later. I was on to boot camp.
One of the most important things I think with Representative Wheatley being a veteran is that he understands our current veteran situations due to homelessness.
I campaigned when I ran for re-election in part on the grocery store in the Hill District. It had been a food desert, no grocery store for 4 decades. And I campaigned on that. But the reality is that grocery store doesn't get built if Representative Wheatley doesn't put the first dollars into that. And that if he's not there the entire time working with me and alongside me to marshal resources that otherwise I don't have access to. So as much as I like to take credit for a lot of things, it requires partnership. And I've done this long enough now to know that without partnership, a lot of the results that we wish we could bring home don't really happen. And even when we individually like to take credit for those results, it probably had a much larger relationship. And for me, Representative Wheatley represents that relationship on the state that is imperative. It also represents the institutional knowledge that I personally don't have. There's a lot we need from the state.
My leadership style is one forged by my life experiences. I try to be tough but fair. I try to have opinions and solutions for things as I see it, but I'm also open and very sensitive to the fact that we have to be collective in our approach. I go it along when necessary, but I've found that when you share visions and build relationships and move even those who were once your opponents to a common table and build a team that's based on accomplishing a mission, that we've been very successful in gaining results. So I'm going to continue to work the way I have been working, to continue to build effective coalitions, to build a brighter future for those residents in the 19th District.
No, we wasn't always friends. Me and Jake wasn't always friends. Now, when Jake first ran, I backed him. I sent people to help him, right? And when I ran, he wasn't there for me, so I had an attitude. You know what I mean? Bottom line, I had an attitude because I wanted him to be built. I wanted him to beat his opponent. And I thought it was good for a young person to have that position and move the Hill in a different direction. Then when it was my time, I was ready. And I didn't get it in return. So of course it left a bitter feelings in me. But I think through that process for me, and I think for Jake as well, what it demonstrated is how brothers come together, how African Americans come together, how leaders come together.
Well, I think others should vote for Jake simply because you're a proponent of development. You know the rules, you know the game, you know how to get the funding, you know how to advocate up the city for us and the county if need be. And so basically you know the ropes. And so that's why people should vote for you, particularly people involved in the downtown development process.
I'm going to continue to work on trying to really figure out how to best modernize our education delivery system. I've been talking about this for the last 5 years, but I really want to see a more personalized learning environment for our kids. I think it would help motivate our kids. I would think it would help structure our resource allocation in a better, more focused way. I think it would help support teachers and some of the things that our schools are trying to innovate and do. So I want to continue to do that. I also want to modernize our tax structure. Being that I am the chairman of the Finance Committee, I think our tax structure is antiquated. And so we've started a partnership with our Republican colleagues to at least start to explore ways to modernize the tax structure, beginning with the question of where do we see our Commonwealth 20 years from now? And then backing into all of the ways that we tax people to see if it's effective, to see if it's sustainable, to see if it helps us get to where we want to be in 20 years. I also want to continue to see the development of my 19th district, of the district, because not only the physical development, which we still need to see more of, but I think we need to support the human development, the human capital development. I think we also need to figure out how we do this in an equitable way. Because if we're talking about housing, to if we're talking about workforce development, to if you're talking about just, again, the soft skills necessary for families to sustain themselves, we need to be making sure the resources that are available to them, and from a financial resources to technical resources, are getting to the people in an equitable way. That's being dispersed in a way that no community gets left out, that no community feels like they're not a priority. Then the last thing I think is a priority for us is to really try to get back to the sense of community, not neighborhoods, but community. The 19th district is a community.